Today on Globewise Entertainment, we're diving into the most powerful, soul-stirring Christian movies ever made, films that bring the Bible to life and retell the greatest story ever told with epic scale, heart, and unshakable faith. Whether you're looking for inspiration, spiritual strength, or just breathtaking storytelling rooted in truth, these movies are more than cinema, they're experiences. And if you haven't subscribed to Globewise Entertainment yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button, tap the bell, and join us as we explore stories that move the heart and uplift the soul. This is Globewise Entertainment, where every story has purpose. Let's get started. 1. 40 Nights, 2016. In the unforgiving wilderness of the Judean desert, a man walks alone. His name is Jesus of Nazareth, and for 40 nights, he faces not just the burning sun and icy winds, but the weight of his destiny. Stripped of comfort, food, and companionship, he is tested by nature, by isolation, and by a mysterious presence that lurks in the shadows, the tempter. As his body weakens, his spirit is challenged. Jesus reflects on his past, his fears, and the divine path set before him. The line between man and myth blurs as he grapples with doubt, temptation, and inner turmoil. This isn't the story of miracles or crucifixions. It's the quiet, intimate tale of a man wrestling with his calling, before the world called him a savior. 40 Nights is an indie biblical drama directed by Jesse Lowe and produced by DJ Perry, who also plays Jesus. Unlike traditional portrayals of Christ's life, this film zooms in on one specific and often overlooked part of the story, Jesus' 40 days of fasting and reflection in the desert. This is not your grand, spectacle-heavy biblical epic. Instead, it's a minimalist, meditative film that explores Jesus as a human being, conflicted, tired, and emotionally raw. The film leans more toward symbolism and introspection than plot-heavy action, with long quiet scenes of solitude, flashbacks, and spiritual dialogue. Visually, the film does well with its modest budget, capturing the starkness of the desert and the mental isolation of the character. DJ Perry brings a grounded performance, though some viewers may find the pacing slow and the acting uneven at times. What it does well offers a unique, humanizing perspective on Jesus. Emphasizes spiritual struggle over religious dogma. Thoughtful cinematography and a poetic tone. What it may lack for some. Low-budget production is noticeable in parts. Minimal dialogue and slow pacing may not appeal to everyone. Less focus on traditional biblical drama or miracles. 40 Nights isn't for everyone, but if you appreciate quiet spiritual films, meditative pacing, and a humanized portrayal of a legendary figure, it's a thoughtful and refreshing take on a well-known story. A small film with a big heart, it invites contemplation rather than conversion. 2. The revolutionary epic, Verion _. Set in a dystopian 23rd century world, the revolutionary epic, Verion follows Commander Verion Rail, a former soldier turned reluctant hero who sparks a rebellion against the totalitarian World Corps, an AI-driven government that controls humanity's every move. Verion once fought for the World Corps, believing its synthetic peace was the only way forward after centuries of war. But after witnessing the quiet erasure of free will, citizens programmed, memories altered, identities erased, he defects. Haunted by guilt and burdened by knowledge, he disappears into the underground city of Theros, a haven of outcasts, hackers, and rebels. There, Verion meets Solia, a brilliant coder with a mysterious past and a mission of her own, to reboot the human soul. Together, they unite fragmented rebel groups and reignite the myth of the Pulse, an ancient, forbidden energy that could shatter the Corps' neural grid once and for all. What follows is a sweeping, action-packed journey through firelit ruins, neon wastelands, and digital dreamscapes, where past and future collide. As Verion confronts the sins of his past and the fragile hope of freedom, he must answer the ultimate question: can a man built to follow orders become the voice of a revolution? A stunning blend of cerebral sci-fi, raw emotion, and visual brilliance underscore the revolutionary epic. Verion_ is the kind of film that punches you in the chest and whispers to your soul. From its jaw-dropping visual effects to its emotionally charged performances, it's both a dystopian blockbuster and a deeply philosophical reflection on identity, control, and redemption. Lead actor Kale Morrow gives a magnetic performance as Verion, conflicted, brooding, and quietly intense. His chemistry with Lyra Vance as Solia brings real heart to the narrative, grounding the high-concept plot in something personal and human. The film's world-building is phenomenal. Think Blade Runner meets Children of Men, with digital ghosts, AI overlords, and a society on the brink of collapse. The action sequences are tight and electrifying, but it's the quieter moments, Verion's flashbacks, Solia's confessions, the flicker of rebellion in ordinary people, that stay with you. Director Ori Vale balances the epic and the intimate with skill, delivering a film that feels both grand and deeply personal. The score, composed by neosynth master RNA, is hypnotic and soul-stirring. If there's a flaw, it's that the film occasionally over-explains its mythology. But in a story this ambitious, it's a minor glitch in an otherwise mesmerizing system. The revolutionary epic, Verion_ is a must-watch for fans of intelligent sci-fi with heart. It's a cinematic rebellion, and you'll want to be part of it. 3. Esther and the King. Directed by Raoul Walsh. Starring Joan Collins as Esther, Richard Egan as King Ahasuerus. Set in the ancient Persian Empire, Esther and the King retells the biblical story of a Jewish orphan who becomes queen and risks her life to save her people. After the banishment of Queen Vashti, the Persian king Ahasuerus, Xerxes, seeks a new bride and ultimately chooses Esther, a beautiful and humble Jewish woman. Though he is unaware of her heritage, Esther wins his heart. Meanwhile, the king's advisor, Haman, schemes to annihilate the Jews, driven by hatred and a lust for power. As Haman's plan unfolds, Esther is faced with a terrible choice: reveal her true identity to the king and plead for her people's lives, or remain silent and safe while her people perish. Choosing courage over fear, Esther boldly approaches the king, exposing Haman's evil plot and saving her people from genocide. The king, heartbroken by the betrayal, has Haman executed, and Esther's bravery becomes legendary. Review of Esther and the King. Visually rich and dramatically staged, Esther and the King is classic sword and sandal cinema with a biblical twist. Joan Collins gives a magnetic performance as Esther, graceful, sharp, and surprisingly layered. Richard Egan's portrayal of King Ahasuerus balances regal power with genuine emotion, especially in the later acts. While the film takes creative liberties with the original Book of Esther, it captures the emotional core, courage in the face of oppression, and the strength of one woman's voice against a corrupt system. The costuming and set design are dazzling, with a golden glow that gives the Persian court a dreamy, almost mythic feel. That said, the pacing lags at times, and some of the dialogue can feel a bit theatrical. Still, for a 1960 production, it's a visually engaging and emotionally resonant film. Final verdict. Esther and the King is a solid historical drama with timeless themes of identity, bravery, and justice. Worth a watch for fans of biblical epics, old Hollywood glam, or a powerful female lead standing her ground. 4. David and Goliath. Long ago, in the sun-scorched hills of ancient Israel, war brewed between two nations, the Israelites and the Philistines. At the center of the conflict stood a towering giant named Goliath, clad in bronze armor, his voice like thunder as he challenged the Israelites to send out a warrior to fight him in single combat. But no man dared step forward. That is, until a shepherd boy named David, young, small, and armed only with a sling, volunteered to face the impossible. Dismissed by warriors, doubted by his own king, David drew his strength from faith, not fear. As he stepped onto the battlefield, facing the monstrous giant, he uttered words not of arrogance, but of belief: the battle is the Lord's. With one smooth stone and a steady hand, David struck Goliath down, proving that courage, faith, and heart can conquer even the greatest of giants. It was the victory that would begin David's rise, not just as a warrior, but as a future king. Movie review: David and Goliath. David and Goliath, 2016 version directed by Timothy Che, had the potential to be an epic biblical drama, but it unfortunately falls short in both execution and emotional depth. What works? Scenic landscapes and natural backdrops give the film an authentic, ancient world feel. The story itself is timeless, and David's unwavering faith remains a powerful message for audiences of any era. The soundtrack features strong, emotional cues that try to elevate the story's gravitas. What doesn't? Acting performances are uneven, with many scenes feeling stiff or overly dramatic. The visual effects and battle choreography are underwhelming, especially for a story that hinges on an epic showdown. Pacing is slow, with long stretches of exposition that lack tension or payoff. The dialogue often feels modern and unpolished, clashing with the film's ancient setting. Final thoughts. While the movie honors the core message of the David and Goliath story, faith over fear, it fails to deliver the cinematic weight such a legendary tale deserves. Fans of biblical epics might find value in its message, but casual viewers may struggle to stay engaged. If you're looking for a deeper dive into David's story, the original biblical text or other adaptations may offer a richer experience. 5. Magdalena, a Jesus story. Set in the dusty, sun-soaked landscapes of first-century Judea, this is the story of a woman who was once cast aside, but would become one of the most powerful witnesses to grace. Magdalena was a woman with a past, marked by pain, judgment, and rejection. Seen as unworthy by her community, she lived in shame and silence, until she encountered Jesus of Nazareth. Through her eyes, we follow the footsteps of Jesus, not as told by scribes or kings, but through the heart of someone transformed by his compassion. Magdalena watches as he heals the sick, welcomes outcasts, and teaches with authority no one had ever seen. With every miracle, she begins to believe that maybe, just maybe, she is not beyond love. The film reaches its emotional peak at the crucifixion, when all hope seems lost. But it's Magdalena, once broken, who becomes one of the first to witness the risen Christ. Her life becomes a living testimony that no one is ever too far gone to be redeemed. Heartfelt. Gentle. Powerful. Magdalena, a Jesus story, offers a fresh and emotional lens on the life of Jesus by telling it through a woman's perspective, something rarely done in biblical cinema. This isn't a grand epic filled with special effects, it's a personal, intimate portrayal of transformation, dignity, and spiritual hope. The lead performance as Magdalena is sincere and grounded, making her pain and eventual healing feel authentic and deeply relatable. The film's pacing is slow but intentional, mirroring the reflective nature of its message. It's particularly effective for viewers seeking an emotional connection to faith or a female perspective within the Gospels, and it speaks with warmth to audiences across cultures. That said, the film doesn't dive into historical or theological complexity. It's not meant to. Instead, it delivers a clear, compassionate narrative of redemption and spiritual awakening, perfect for family or church screenings. And that wraps up our journey through some of the most powerful Christian films ever made, movies that don't just entertain, but uplift, inspire, and remind us of the unshakable power of faith. From the Garden of Eden to the empty tomb, these stories are more than just history, they're the living word brought to life on screen. Whether you're watching to deepen your faith or simply to be moved by timeless truths, these films are a testament to the greatest story ever told. If this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of hope, grace, or just made you think a little deeper, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to Globewise Entertainment. We've got more faith-filled content, inspiring stories, and hidden gems on the way, and we'd love for you to be part of the journey. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and let's keep spreading the light, one story at a time. This is Globewise Entertainment, where stories meet soul. Until next time, stay blessed, stay inspired, and keep watching with purpose.